I love playing the Lone Ranger because it's an amazing project, first of all, and it's with an amazing cast and crew, and everybody involved is just top of their game, which is fantastic to get to be a part of something like that. You know, the Lone Ranger and Tonto in this story meet the same way they did in the first episode of the TV show. There's an Indian scout who's out patrolling, and he comes across a bunch of dead rangers. He thinks they're all dead and starts to bury them and, you know, give them their last rites and all that. And then one of them turns out to actually be alive, and he kind of nurses the guy back to health because of the spirits basically show Tonto, like, this is the guy, nurse him back, like, this is going to be a warrior. So he does it, and it turns out to be, you know, John Reid, kind of like a bumbling fool who has to find his way in, like, the West. You know, it's not in his grain, like, it's not in his blood to kind of jump on a horse and grab a gun and just run off into Indian territory. Like, that's against his nature. So it's sort of, he has to learn to become the Lone Ranger, and you kind of see that process. This movie has Gore and Jerry's fingerprints all over it, partially because of the size, partially because of, you know, having to get it made, and, you know, the elements involved. One of the best crews I've ever worked with in my life that they've, you know, been with for years. And I don't think that there are many people out there that could really wield a movie this size, but we picked the two best guys at it, which was great. That's one of the most appealing things about the Lone Ranger, is his sort of moral barometer. He's a guy who makes the right decision, not because he's forced to, because truly he's out there in the middle of nowhere. He could make whatever decision he wants, but he makes the right decision because it is in fact just the right decision to make. And it's good to be reminded that, you know, those morals still exist and there's heroes out there. We just basically were stuck in the middle of the desert for 6 months together making a movie. And that, I mean, that pretty much did it. There were no strangers by the time we were finished. But no, we had a lot of meals together. We'd play the guitar together, just talk and just have fun. And everybody likes watching people have fun and have a good time, so we tried to do that.